Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to check fresh release from Special Hobby. It is molded in 1/72 scale and it copies Potez 25TOE, and this edition is named as a For Friends Anytime Anywhere, and you can see on the box art the aircraft itself. So this is a new release, we are going to open it. It's a commercial sample, so it means you'll get exactly the same stuff, and of course we will check what is hidden inside. So first of all, box is standard here you can see comparison with my hand. Then it's a top opening box. On the sides we do not have anything, so we are going to open it straight away, and here is what is hidden inside. So we have assembly manual, all components are packed into the same plastic bag, and of course we will check assembly manual a bit later. I would like to start with all those parts. Let's open it. In the meantime, let me remind you that you can support us financially. We have special donate button on our website, so it is quite easy to do, and of course you are the one who will decide how much we will get for new photo and video equipment, or maybe for new kits, and it's done via PayPal, so it's pretty much safe. We are going to start with decals, and also there is a small P thread, so it should be interesting to see all this stuff together. Just give me a second. So let's start with PE thread. As you can see, it is unpainted PE thread. We have here some parts for external detailing, as well as, for example, here you can see the landing gear wheels, and everything looks fine. I do not have any complaints about this stuff, so let's move on to the decals. There are two decal sheets, and both are printed by Edward, as far as you can see. So let's zoom out a bit. Now you should be able to see this one. And I can see that we do not have any decals for the cockpit, which is quite surprising, but we have here another decal sheet for one more marking option, I guess. We will have to check the assembly manual in order to understand how many markings are inside. Next we have another plastic bag. This one is dedicated to clear plastic frame, and of course here you'll find various canopy parts. Everything looks completely fine, but masks are not included, so you have to do everything with your own hands. Otherwise everything looks completely fine. I mean, this molding is more than good, let's say, in this kit. Next we continue with first gray plastic sprue, so let's zoom out a bit. Now you should be able to see it. So here we have fuselage halves, also we have cowling panels, external detailing is quite typical, we have recessed panel lines, and if we flip it over here we have minor cockpit detailing, so I would recommend to spend some time painting and weathering all this stuff. And this is, by the way, as far as I can guess, this is a lower fuselage part, so basically you assemble this boxy silhouette out of separate panels and you'll be good to go. Okay. Next we go on with another plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to mix of various external and internal parts. For example, here you can see control column, and then here we have bombs, and this is a cowling, obviously. These are wing struts, and everything looks fine. I mean, I don't have any complaints, but note that cowling parts, they do not have any guiding elements, so it might be a bit tricky to assemble all this stuff together. Be ready for this, and I mean, professional modelers, I think, won't have any problem with this, but if you're not that experienced, just be careful with this stuff. Next we continue with third plastic frame. So this one carries another fuselage panel, more cowling panels, and propeller. So I guess we will have to use one of those parts, I guess this cowling type, because our aircraft has this boxy cowling, but again we will have to consult the assembly manual. And here inside again you can see that we do not have any guiding pins. Be careful with this stuff. Next we have wing parts, and wing parts are molded as a one-piece element, so let's not forget that this is a 1/72 scale kit, so that's why it is more than enough to have them as a single piece parts. This is biplane, so that's why we have two wings. Here you can see also tail section parts and landing gear wheels. Those are tires, and as you remember we have separately, let's say, made reams out of PE parts, so you have to use them, and here you can check those parts from another side. Here we have special guiding slots for wing struts, which is also quite a useful feature, and it will make it easier and faster to assemble whole kit. Next we continue with last gray plastic sprue, so this one is dedicated to various parts. For example, here you can see landing gear struts. Here we have engine. Here we have more of the engine parts and radiators. And I would like to zoom in even more so that you can see these engine parts, also dashboard here as well. And here we have some of the parts for the cooling. As far as I remember, this aircraft should have slightly visible engine, so I would recommend to invest some time into painting and weathering it, because it will be noticeable on the finished aircraft. Next, we continue with assembly manual. So this one is printed in form of small brochure. We have short history note in English and Czech, also some technical specifications. So real aircraft had 14 meters wingspan, which is quite big, I would say, for World War I aircraft. Next, we continue with parts map. Note that many parts won't be used, especially this radial engine, so I was wrong. Actually, in this version, this radial engine is not used, but it might be handy for your next projects, especially if you are doing some scratch builds. Such stuff is always useful in scratch build projects. Here we start with cockpit. So first you assemble the cockpit floor, pilot seat, dashboard or instrument panel. Then we install all this stuff to one of the fuselage halves, and don't forget to paint the inside inner walls of the fuselage, because I mean it will be visible through the openings, so it's worth investing some time into it. Next we continue with assembling the fuselage. So as I said before, it's a matter of combining 3 panels together, and it should make it easier to get a more or less smooth assembly, so some modders will be happy to see such parts division. Next we continue with cowling. So as I said before, we have this boxy cowling, and also here you have the separate radiator panel. So invest some time into painting and weathering this stuff, because it will be visible on the finished aircraft, and I mean it's worth spending some time to get the convincing appearance out of it. Next we continue with wing installation. So as you can see, first wing is installed, and then you install the cowling section, not in the opposite direction, so keep it in mind. I mean, it sounds logical, but some others might be confused with such stuff. Next we continue with installation of machine guns. Here we install top wing together with struts. Here you assemble landing gear wheel. So as you remember, it will be a matter of combining PE parts together, so be careful with this stuff. You will have to bend them slightly, so it might be a bit tedious work to do, especially in 1/72 scale. Next we continue with tail wing parts. So you have also to drill some holes here, and don't forget about it. As you can see, you have to use the 0.5 millimeters drill bit. Then you install tail wing into the place. Here we have tail wing struts, also the tail fin together with rudder. And next we continue with various struts which are installed on the aircraft for the landing gear system. And it will be, I mean, you will have to be careful with alignment, because it's easy to get a wrong alignment, because you have all the parts, all the struts separate, so it's a matter of, let's say, coordinating them together. Here we continue with installation of wheels. Next we install more of the P parts. As you can see, this will be these handles for the ailerons. They all will be copied with P parts, and these are quite tiny parts, so keep it in mind. Use the sharp tweezers for this. Next we continue again with more of the P parts. Of course you will have to do rigging, because that's a World War I aircraft, so be ready for this. This is a quite funny thing to do. Here we install bomb racks and bombs, machine gun turret, and it is installed into the tail section, propeller, and that's pretty much all. Next we continue with marking guides. So first aircraft comes from 1942. Surprising. Okay. So biplanes were fighting during World War II as well. Here we have 1933. It's well, this blue aircraft looks quite interesting. It comes from 1939, September. Here we have aircraft from 1944. Quite unusual. And of course on the last page we have all other kits from this brand, so some of them were reviewed on our YouTube channel. You can just type in the name of this kit or kit number and you'll be able to find the video review. Some of them are really interesting, so I recommend to watch those reviews as well. As I said before, this kit should be already available for purchase, so you can get it on our official Special Hobby website. If you have something to comment about it, write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for watching today, and bye!